Okay, good afternoon, folks. I'm a little bit late. I was just setting my replicanto, and I noticed I don't know about you guys, but I've rolled over to the 12th, and what I'd done is on the chart I got above, the extra chart I got the yes above, that was on the 9th, and when I was opening my trays just to see if replicanto was working, something wasn't seeming right, but that seems okay now. So I
Order
click a buy limit,
submitted.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful.
Order canceled.
5 accounts opening there. Let's check I have there.
Order
1, 2,
submitted.
3, 4, 5. Beautiful.
Order
Excellent.
canceled.
Okay. Hey, Speedy. How you doing, my friend? So we've got two different stories here. So the NQ is going down, and the ES seems to be going up, which is a bit unusual. It doesn't often happen. I mean, it's not to say this can't go down now, but when I saw it going sideways here and sideways here on the bottom, I thought that started to go up, and I thought this was going to do the same. So you did roll over as well, mate. Good on you. I think the old contract is still having more volume today. Well, I've switched over to both, and there seems a bit more on the 12th. So let's just have a look. I flick over. There's not really a lot in it. Oh, I don't know. It's loading. So I'm just flicking over to the 9th on my other chart. There is a little bit more volume. You're right. That's the 9th. It's hard to say here. Let's have a little look. I think we just all need to be on the same page, don't we? There probably is a little bit more volume. There's not a lot in it, really, to be fair, is there? Always weird, yeah, they are. I tend to roll over and then tend to forget all about it. But what I noticed today, now, whether this is normal and it's just something I've never noticed, look at price at the moment, 5623. Price over here is 5684. I thought price always had to be the same. That's the price of the S&P 500 currently. So why is that 622 and 683? That doesn't make any sense to me. It might have just been, I mean, I've been trading 3.5 years. It might have just been that I've never noticed it. Strange. Why have I never noticed that? Price should be price. It should be the same. It shouldn't make a difference. You'd have thought. But perhaps it's just something I've never noticed. Anybody answer that? Don't get it. Posted in Thomas Wade's thing a while ago. Remember, futures are expected value of contracts to expire. Okay, so prices will drastically different. Okay. Never noticed that before. It's just something I'd never noticed before. Okay, well, that's the answer. John, never noticed that before. So, what is everybody doing? What are you guys doing? Have you rolled over? You on the old contract, or are you on the old contract? What's Thomas on? Thomas is on the new one. See if anybody else's chart. It's a bit early for anybody else's chart. So Thomas is on the new one. You're on December. Okay, let's make it simple. Let's just switch it to the December one. It'll get better as the week goes on anyway. There is this. It's negligible, the difference, to be honest with you, but I think it's more important we're on the same page. Okay, so that's on the 12th. Let me just check everything's.
Order submitted.
Orders are all showing. Yeah, they're
Order
fine.
canceled.
So let me just reload historic. You're on the new contract as well. Hey, Karina, how you doing? Okay, so how you doing, Speedy? Ryan, how you doing, bud? Sean, how are you, mate? You've rolled over as well. And Karina, excellent. Excellent. Primo good. Okay, so we're on the same page. That's the main thing. That's the main thing in here. If we're all looking at the same thing, it doesn't really matter, does it? Okay, so... So, is this a channel? Possibly. Well, if we look at the NQ, that's going down for certain, so... back, let's put that like that, I think. Close enough. So, we're definitely looks like a channel to me. Sorry about that. Looks like a channel to me. So it's definitely 2 legs anyway. It's just a little bit steeper than the ES at the moment, but I suppose that's the way it is sometimes. Off for the day. Good on you, mate. Took a second entry short on the trap. One of these, was it? That one there. Second entry short. You went short there or you went long there? Let me have a look. Enjoying your stream risk-free. Sometimes, you know, I haven't done that for a while, but sometimes it's nice to not trade and just watch the charts. I think there's something, because when you're not trading, all your risk emotions completely disappear. So maybe you see something different. I think it's, I think there's definitely, I think it's a good exercise to do once in a while. Just to sort of, I mean, if you're not trading or you're not risking any money, I think it's impossible to feel exactly the same way as if you're still just sitting watching. You know, your heart rate's going to be slightly elevated. I think that's a given. And there's a certain amount of emotions. And now you hear about traders talking about emotions. I've spoken to a couple of really experienced traders. They say emotions never go away. They just go down to a bare minimum. It's like a sort of dull rumble in the background. It's always there whenever you're risking money. I think it's human nature. I dare say there are some people out there that work like a robot, but I think it's okay too. I know when I started learning from a guy called Andrew Lockwood, and he's been a trader for 35 years. He works for Swiss Bank. He worked on the London Stock Exchange. And when I started learning from him, he was talking about you got to trade without emotions. And he said, I've been trading for 35 years and I still can't trade without emotions. So you're always going to get some to a degree. They're going to be nowhere near as exaggerated as they are when you're a newer trader. Obviously, the more you do this day in, day out, it's going to seem like a normal, boring job at some point, like every other job does. And it will slowly start to disappear. I mean, risk management, how much you risk, obviously has an element. Now, we tend to risk a lot more than we normally would when we're trading prop firms. Now, if I had $2,500 of my own money, I would not be trading 2 contracts because I'd be risking about 11 to 13%, let's say 12%, without splitting hairs. And you, as a trader, if you told a professional trader you're risking 10, 12% of your money, he'd say you were mad and you weren't going to last long. But obviously, we're not risking $2,500 of our own money. We're only risking $85 and the price of an evaluation. So theoretically, we're risking a lot less. So it is different. You know, people say, oh, I don't know. When I first started trading, someone said to me, oh, I'll trade 1 micro. I'm thinking, if I trade a micro, it's going to take me a couple of years to get up there. And I didn't really want to wait that long. And I think that's fair enough. Are all your PA accounts 50? Yes, they are. I'm thinking of getting 250. I don't think that's a bad thing, mate. The good thing about that is you can. There's 2 schools of thought for having one of those. One, you can trade 4 or 5. If you trade 5 contracts on the 250k account, it's exactly the same. In fact, you're risking more trading 2 contracts on a 50. So you can try and build a bulk amount of money up quicker if you want to. Or you could keep it the same and 2 contracts. And obviously, instead of risking 12%, you would be risking, I don't know, about 5%, something like that. So, yeah, that's okay. So great if you want to hurry things up a bit. And also great if you want to lower that risk. My trouble is I can be very impatient sometimes, and they say, you know, we've all heard 1,000 times, haven't we? Trading is not a get-rich-quick scheme. But we have it rammed down our throat by, you know, certain YouTubers and all that sort of stuff, you know, not in a nasty way, how much money people are earning. And you kind of, you know, you want to rush to try and get a piece of it. And it's I think it's human nature. It's not a bad thing. It's just the way life is. You know, we all think we're the most patient people in the world, but we've all got limits. And when you're sat here day by day and reading about people earning 50, 60 grand a month, you kind of want to rush to do it. It's human nature. I'm going to keep using prop firms. I feel it's a better way. Absolutely agree, 100%. Will I ever use my money? Maybe. Maybe if I've been making money out of prop firms for a year or 2 years in a row, and I think I can fully trust myself, and I've had 5, 6, 7 years experience, and I'm making consistent money, then I may decide to add a pot of my own money alongside prop firms. But I think prop firms are gold mines, and I think you have to use prop firms nowadays because it's such a cheap way and lower risk way of making good money. For example, if I have the 250 to trade with 3 contracts as a lead account, but the others, absolutely. I've been that road, mate. I've had exactly the same thought, so I don't think that's a bad way to go. I definitely think it's useful maybe having 1 or 2 of the bigger accounts because you have got that little bit more room to breathe. And as you say, use that as your lead a little bit more, build that capital a bit more, and also, have a little bit less risk. I think that's perfectly fine, mate. There is no such thing as get rich. Yeah, it takes a while till you start to listen to that, doesn't it? I know, unless you're a lottery winner. And I'll tell you something, though, when you think about it with the lottery, that's even less of a way. Do you know you're more likely to be struck by lightning twice than win the lottery? But you still leave your front door. So I don't even do the lottery anymore. If I'd want to bet on me getting struck by lightning twice, I wouldn't bother, but I used to. I remember the first time they started doing the lottery in the UK. I think it was around about 2000, and I remember sitting in my bedroom with my wife, looking at my lottery ticket, thinking, what are we going to do with the money? Friends, exactly. So I didn't even bother doing anymore. Not that nice to have a bit of luck, but I don't even think about it. I'm not really a gambler, to be honest with you, which sounds strange considering I've blown over 600 evaluations, but I don't get that gambling bug, fortunately. But I have asked myself many times, do I feel like I'm gambling? And I think a lot of the time, the way I trade some of these evaluations, there's definitely an element of that. Some people say trading is exactly the same as gambling. When you think about it realistically, you're betting on an outcome, which you can win or lose money. It's exactly the same as gambling. The difference with trading, you can build in a big edge. You can to a degree with gambling. I mean, if you're an absolute horse racing fanatic and you know all about the horses, you can build a slight edge. And there are professional gamblers, but 1 million on the UK lottery. Did he really? Good God. Do you know what? I've never won anything really. I won about £120 on a scratch card about 10 years ago, but I don't even bother with them anymore. I used to when they started coming out. Just get the odd one, but no, October 2000. Oh my God. How much did he give it? How much did he give it to you, Chris? Because my mum's passed away now, but if she won the lottery, my first thought would be, congratulations, how much you giving me? 25 grand. Nice. Yeah, it's nice to be handed 25 grand, isn't it? In fact, my mum, I'll tell you a quick story. When I was 3 years old in the early 1970s, my dad was in the British Army. He was killed in Belfast in 1972. I was just two or 3 year old. And my mum got a pension. I think they call it a death pension or something. She got a pension. And my mum married about 3 or 4 years later to a friend of his, good family friend of his. And he passed away when I was about 21. So my mum had some shit luck. And what she didn't realise is when her new husband passed away years later, she could reclaim my dad's old pension. She never knew that. And we just happened to be a chance meeting with somebody, an ex-military guy said, you're getting that pension. She says, no. So it took him about 3 years. I think it was the British Legion, which helped, servicemen and their families, and managed to get her 180,000, which was about 4 or 5 years ago. And she gave me and my wife 25,000, my brother 25,000, my sister. So we have had a little bit of a payout, so it is nice to get a bit of money. But now this is interesting. Look at this on the NQ. We got a leg and a leg, a failure. This is going up. I thought this may come down and trap that. We kind of got a channel there with a break. Yeah. My mum was always one of these type of... as long as the kids were all right, she was happy. You know, sort of gave us loads, really. Looked after us. She was a nurse for years, so she was always one of them caring types. So, always looking after people type thing. What is going on here? So, yeah, it's nice to get a bit of money now and again, isn't it? Once in a while. So we've kind of got a leg and a leg up here, but this to me is going just a little bit sideways. In fact, I'm even going to get rid of that. And I think I would probably... Where's the middle one? Bloody long is that thing now? I think I'm going to pull that down. Because that to me just looks like a leg and a leg. So there was a second entry short there, which eventually triggered and trapped. I wouldn't have taken that, to be fair, because there is a little bit of support here. Now, could this come down? Could this be a bigger channel? It could be. Let's just put that there just out of curiosity, because if it does bounce there, then maybe it will come down. But see, I've got two schools of thought here. We've got this big drop down on the NQ and a possible leg in the leg, which could come down. So this could do the same in a bigger channel. I'm not sure whether it will, so I'm just going to have to sit here and watch and wait. So I spent the last 3 weeks designing a website for a bunch of different reasons. And I finished it yesterday afternoon. I sat and had a couple of glasses of whiskey. My wife came upstairs and had a look at it, said, "Oh, I love it. Love the front page. Think it's brilliant." So I was thinking about some of the people that have helped me, you know, Mac and that. So first thing I did was put a link to Mac's website on. And I put a link to the Facebook group. Just put a link to I'll show you in a minute. Put a link to the Facebook group. Put a link to my YouTube. And I thought Marco. I'm always chatting with Marco. He's really helped me in the past. He's a nice guy. I have only ever had good, positive stuff from Marco. So I thought, I know he's got a little training thing. So I messaged him and I said, "Any objection if I put a link onto your page?" And he went, "No, of course. Thanks, appreciate it." So I put a link onto his page, and then when I went onto his page, I'll show you what I found. Now, don't ask me how this happened, but our websites were almost identical, and I must have spent hours and hours and hours on this front page. So I'll show you. They're almost identical. My wife thought it was very hilarious. I couldn't believe it. I was in shock. My wife was laughing her socks off. How was it? There. Okay, so this is what I found. This was my website, and I was just about to put a link on there to Marco's. So I couldn't remember what it was called, so I got on his page, and that's what I saw. I could not believe it. Now, I've never been on Marco's page before, but that image I found on, if you search trading images, you'll find that. And I did it, and mine had like a little ripple effect through it. So I really liked it, and I spent hours on that front page. And well, then I couldn't believe it. So I sent him that photo, and he thought it was quite hilarious as well. To be fair, I think he was happy for me to keep it, but I did change it anyway. So, but you look at that. Would you believe that? I couldn't believe it. I thought something's gone wrong here. It's showing my page. And then I noticed a few differences. So I didn't think I would Why is this going on to... What's going on here? Yeah, so that's mine now anyway. Put a different picture, but I like it. I'm pleased with it anyway. But yeah, I wanted to just, people who have helped me, I wanted to do something for them. So I thought I put a link to Max on there, a link to Marco's group. He teaches as well, and the Facebook group as well. So if any of you guys have got anything or you want me to put any links on here for you guys for anything, you guys have used my codes. You looked after me, so I'm happy to do the same thing. So if you want to advertise something or whatever you want to do, then, give me a shout and I'll happy put something on there. Or if you want me to search up a bit of information about something and pop that on there, whatever you want to do. The way I've seen it, people have helped me during my journey. So thanks, Karina. People have helped me on my journey, so you pay it back, don't you? So I'm happy to do the same. So we got a channel working there. Maybe a little break. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate that, mate. Great bit of software if you ever want to design one. Squarespace, it's called. It's a bit tricky to get your head around it initially. I played around with it for a while and gave up on it, but then I started watching a few videos on YouTube. And it's a great bit of kit. Yeah, it is. It's very good, yeah. Ain't technology amazing, really? If I go on there and update it, so the second I update it and click save, if I refresh my own page, it's all there, bum, like that. It's so quick, really. Still blows me away, the internet. So I'm looking at this now and I'm thinking maybe this is a leg and a leg down on the NQ. And this is just going up anyway. They have sponsored LTT's video. That's how I found out about that website. Who's Squarespace. LTT. Who's LTT? Yeah, I'd never heard of it before. In fact, to be honest with you, I bought a domain name from them. Oh, yeah. I bought a domain name months ago, about 3 months ago, and I thought it's something I, wanted to do. And I never really did much, to be fair. And then I forgot all about it. But what I didn't realise, I think it's cost me about £19 a month to do it. But I could have had a free domain name from them. But, oh well. That's the way it goes. But so, yeah, you can tell volume's low, can't you? It's definitely split between the two. I know most of us are on it. Thomas Wade's on it. I think most on Thomas Wade's group are on it, so I think the more on it, if we're all looking at the same thing, that's more important, isn't it? How do you change the contract here? I think there's a way of doing it. I had a little pop-up this morning, but you can just do it manually. If you can, you can see that, can't you? If you just sort of double-click where the 12 is and just backspace or delete and then just retype whatever it is. So, yeah, you can just do it manually. I think there's probably a way of changing it somehow. I don't know, but you can just do it manually. Just sort of, drop your cursor in there, press it once, press it again. Delete, and add your 12. Yeah, that's all I did. Just typed in 12. That's how I tend to do it. But I think you could. No worries, mate. I got a pop up this morning, but I just deleted it. And you usually get a pop up whenever we're due to write. It kind of doesn't make sense to me. You'd think when we go on a 12 contract, but obviously contracts are 3 months, aren't they? You'd think it'd be December, January, February, and then we'd have contract 3, and then it'd be March, April, May. But I don't know. I don't know how they do it. I mean, I don't think futures mean the same as they used to so much, do they? But I think people get confused, really. I mean, trading's trading. It doesn't really matter whether you're trading. Well, I mean, you've obviously got the day trading rule, but trading, really, the actual, in the practical sense of it, it's the same whatever you trade, really. I think some things, they're made a little bit more complicated. Started with commodities, yeah. I think it was a way of getting fair prices for like the farmers and the sort of like the the manufacturers. So everybody kind of gets a fair price. But yeah, it's just got a bit more complicated. Well, I think it sounds more complicated than it really is. It took me a little bit to get my head around. I couldn't seem to, but it doesn't really matter, does it? Same bar, 28 bars printed since last. Yeah. I don't think there's a huge amount of difference. I don't know why some don't go over and some go over and some don't. Probably I would have said some go over. Some are a little bit more up to date and they know what's going on. Some tend to think, why is the volume low? Okay, let's move over. So varied reasons. See, this is interesting. We've got a channel work in there. That could be an overshoot, which could result in a drop down. And this is at the top of a range, which looks like it could result in a drop down. But then again, you could draw that like that and have that work in there, in which case still a little overshoot. So that may be an overshoot there. So channel break, new high. Yeah, there's only a few pages on that website, but I will add to it. I'll add the different indicators I use. I've had a few messages recently on what computer I use. So I'm going to put all that information on there anyway. Some people just like, if they don't know something. I did a lot of research when I sort of built my computer just to check it was on the right lines, but I've had a couple of messages lately. So, do you know what? My two charts are completely different. This is the same, the 12th. There's a lower high there. I mean, sometimes they are a bit different, but not usually that much. We're still breaking a new high, and then a lower high, which has triggered. So it has played out that, so that may not be a terrible trade, but something's making me not take it. Just going to sit and watch that. Something I don't like about it. It's a little bit stacking up here. Is this going to come down possibly? But we could get a second entry longer and this could go a little bit higher. It's always possible. It's only really the second time we've been up at this topsy, so I don't want to assume it's a range, because it could end up going up like that for another leg. We've had this big push up like that. We've had kind of a couple of legs, so we could get up above this level, I suppose. It's always possible. So, maybe not now. So that lower high did work. But as I say, it's only the second time we've been up here, so I didn't want to assume. Oh, look at that. That would have been lovely. Didn't want to assume. So, funnily, this kind of looked like it may come down, and this had an overshoot, so... So an overshoot, that might be a steeper pullback. Leg and a leg. So on the ES, would I want to go long here? Not really. We're quite a chunk back into the range. So possible failure. What I'm looking on is this at the moment. Same chart, but just a different end of day. There is a second entry long there, which is triggered. So like we could come down further here. So if this comes down so far, I may take that as a failure. Looks quite different on here. I mean, it's still, although it's red, it's still relatively bullish. I'm going to move that to there now. So, leg and a leg on the NQ. So, possible overshoot. When we have an overshoot, we know we can get a steeper correction, and we have got a nice correction there, so that works nice. It already started moving, so it's too late for me to get in there, though, unfortunately. But so nice that was. Lovely, 2 legs back. Nice strong bar, but we were up here by the time I noticed it. That was nice, actually. I would have had a go at that and done alright at that as well. I'd have probably wanted to put me stop there, me profit there, right at the close of that bar. that have worked. I think that'll be a good place with an overshoot there. I dare say there's some shorts there, mind you. We could get a possible failure. Listing could come down, but trouble is, a lot of the times when you get something like that and you bring your stop to break even and think, let's see if it pushes to that line. So many times it comes back and takes out your stop. Market's very clever at that, really. It knows after two legs like that there's likely to be stops there, and I don't know, these algorithms that run this, often it'll just come down, touch that, and then push up. Let's see it take out that stop. If you put that stop to break even, look at that, boom. Now watch it push up. That's so annoying when it does that. That's why I've never really been interested so much in runners, because so many times it'll push up, come back, take out your runner, and then go, and you've lost a potential point or 2 points, whatever you're going for. See, this is interesting. So we've had a channel break, 2 pushes to a new high. Trigger one, so I ties possible failure. Would this come down? Trouble is, there's no room to the EMA. And hoping that that's going to push through the EMA and continue down is a bit wishful thinking, I think. I'd like to see how this closes on that NQ. If that closes really bullish there, then I think that's likely to maybe push up. You know, it's always possible that there may end up being another leg up there, but can you also include some write-up on how many ticks we should use for the NQCL, which is equivalent to... yes, I can. I can't say I know exactly what it is myself. I've asked the question, but I don't really know if there's a definitive answer, because obviously everything is sort of, it depends on the sort of signal bar. But I've been told that 2 points. The reason I don't know so much is because I've never really traded the NQ enough. But a couple of people told me 2 points on the ES is the equivalent to approximately 10 points, or that's the way they use it. In fact, one person to ask is Karina. I think Karina pretty much solely trades the NQ, so maybe Karina can answer that. That's why I've never sort of got on with the NQ, because I haven't committed to trading it long enough, really. But if I can find out, I'll absolutely put it on there, no problem. It'd be nice to just get loads of bits of useful information. I'm trying to put things on there, or I'd like to put things on there that have helped me. I put a bunch of books. All those books I put on there, I've read myself, and I liked. I've read a lot more, but those particular ones stuck out to me. I've got to figure out how to put on these different indicators I use. The ones that tag onto the price line and stuff like that. At least that way, because I get messages quite a bit saying, what do you use for this, what do you use for that? And it'd be nice to go have a look on the website, and it's all on there. So I don't know what this is doing at the moment. So we've got a leg and a leg. That's kind of like a higher low, which is triggered. I'm surprised this is coming down like this, because there seem to be 2 legs down and a higher low, so I thought that was going to push up. but it triggered and started coming down. It may continue higher, but see, there is a possible second entry short here. So we've got a channel break, new high, tried to go once, came back down, tried to go higher twice. So it's kind of like a failure there, but the bit that's put me off that short is, one, it's too close to the EMA, and two, it's triggered and started pushing up. But this to me looks like it may come down and take out this short. And if it does, there may be a second entry short. But it could also come down, take out that, and then tag on to a possibly, if this comes down, stops below there, we could end up then having a second entry long. So I'm not sure whether this thing is a range yet, or whether there is a possibility we've got a leg up. We may go further up. It's looking like a range, but it's a bit hard to say at the moment, unfortunately, because the volume's so split. It's going to show probably about maybe 40% less volume today. Yeah. 20 ticks, $100. How many, Armanas, how many ticks? Is it still 4 ticks in a point, is it? 4 ticks in a point. I have been told, but because I don't trade it a lot, I understand exactly how the ES works because I've been using it for sort of 3.5 years, but 20 ticks is $100. That's on one contract, yeah? 20 ticks, one contract, $100. Yeah, okay, so that's 5 points then, isn't it? So 5 points, $100 on one contract. 5 points. Okay. So if you went for 5 points on the ES, that's $250. No. I'm thinking here. Vortex is a point. So if you went for the same $50, $1.5 in the NQ, $100. Yeah, it still takes a bit of getting your head around, doesn't it? Does that sound right? See, Armanas has put 20. Say Armanas has put, say, 5 points is 100. You're saying 1 point is 5. That don't make sense. So he's saying 26 equals $100. You're saying 26. Oh, is $100? Yeah, 1.5. I don't know, what am I missing here? Am I having a mental meltdown? See, if 1 point was $5, 5 points would be $25, not 100. Okay. Right. Karina, you put 1 point is $5. I think you mean a tick, don't you? That makes sense. Yeah, you put 1 point is $5. I'm thinking something doesn't make sense. Yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah. Thomas Way has a video about the different ratio. Does he? I'll have to have a look. But yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so each tick is $5. So 1 point is $20. So 1 point is $20. So 1 point on the ES is $50, isn't it? So it's 2.5 times. So yeah, that would mean 2 points is about 5.5 to 6 points on the NQ, something like that. The trouble is, it's not black and white, obviously, because the size difference varies on the ATR from the NQ to the ES. So I think it's just something you get a feel and an understanding for, really, but you have to trade them for a while before you sort of fully understand it. So this is interesting now. So we've had a leg and a leg, a higher low, which triggered, came back, and is still pushing up. So it's still sideways, but I think there's a good chance that it's going to break that level there. So maybe we get a higher low here. I'll be surprised if that comes down and takes that out. But we are clearly finding some support. Problem is, well, yeah, I've got split volume prices. There's not a lot of volume. So the average bar is, say, 18.8, say 19 ticks. So let's say 26 for argument's sake. So the average bar is 20 ticks, which is 5 points, isn't it? I'm assuming I've got that in ticks, haven't I? Must have. I have this in points. So the ATR and the ES is 3.3, which is 3.33 points per bar average. I tend to do it in points. Some have it in ticks. So there is a possible failure here, but trouble is, I don't really want to go long into this lot. I prefer something to get trapped. I can't see a bearish bar there. There is one there, which is already broke across it. Short in here, on the way I've got this chart, wouldn't make sense. But here, bearish bar, so there, and this one. So the possibility of this pushing up, I think, is higher on this chart than this chart, because I can see where there may be some stops. But it's sideways, so it could trigger you, come down to the EMA, so I'm just sitting tight here. Nothing to do at the moment. They're quite different, those charts. They're a lot different than they usually are. So I'm thinking leg and a leg, and they may be up to the top for another leg. So that's what I'm think I may be looking at now. Should take us right up to this level here. That's what it looks like it might be doing. So there's our first leg. There's our second leg. If indeed it does that, because we've had a bounce, and also 1, 2, 3, a triple test to go long. So possible triple test there, 1, 2, 3, and also 2 legs down. Now, would I take that there as a triple test? No, because it could come down, break below there, and then give us a bullish bar. Because if there is 2 legs, it could come down a bit more yet. But we've got a leg down there, split into 2, then 2 pushes up. There we go. So that's taken that stop out and that stop out. So let's see now if we get a push up. But bearing in mind we had an overshoot as well, so sometimes overshoots can result in a reversal. There's a failure here, trapping some shorts. I actually don't mind that. Trouble is it's 13 ticks and it ain't even finished yet. So it's a little bit sideways and choppy, and it can mess you around. But that has made 2 legs on the NQ, so even if this is bullish, I'm staying out of this. Yeah, Thomas Wade said, I'm expecting a new high, but I'm not sure about this. It's getting a bit big. It's 16 ticks. You could try and get it on a limit order, but 1, 2, 3. See, I think that would likely get us to the top, but it is a little bit like this. So I'm probably going to sit tight here anyway. I'm certainly not taking a trade at 16 ticks. It doesn't look as good as I'd want it to. Tom. See, we have made multiple attempts to push up. So we've had a channel break new high, tried once, came back, tried a second time, tried a third time, and a big strong bearish bar. So I'm not sure whether this now is going to come back into the meaty part of the range. It looks like a little leg with a pushback and a leg down. So I think this is probably likely to come down into this area now. I just can't see it continuing up anymore at the moment. I mean, it could change. Fortunately, it didn't trigger. So, if you think about this, if you look at this NQ, we pushed up, looks like an overshoot, and we came back and we made 1, 2, 3 attempts to push higher and then down. So there is a possibility this could come down. Having said that, where that measured move finishes, you can see it bounced there and it's holding there so far. I'm not saying it will, but 3 times it's holding. This may give up the goat now, but it kind of seems like that, an overshoot. 1, 2, 3 attempts to push up and then down. So yeah, it looks like it's coming down. So clearly multiple attempts to go higher and couldn't. So maybe leg down, a couple of legs up, and then leg down again to get a possible leg and a leg. So maybe this, maybe. There's certainly going to be liquidity around here, so there and there. So I expect that to get broken, and possibly that as well. And if it does get there, maybe at this area, then get a break and then down. So we could get 2 legs down. But at the moment, the ES is looking pretty rangy. working nice there. So there's a couple of levels here. Where I expect a bit of liquidity below. So triggered that little bull bar there. I wouldn't go long there. I'd expect that to get stopped out. So I think that's fair to say that's going to happen. And the same there, plus a bit of liquidity there. So I think once it gets below there, it'll push down a bit more. This will come down, I think, lightly to the bottom. There'll be some there, I think. So that level's gone there. And there will be some there. Could be a small a small break there. So let's see what happens here. Actually broken below there, just a touch. One tick, I think. So same there. We're at a matching bottom now. So channel break, new low, tick below. So that's the low of the day there. So we've been up the top twice and we've been down the bottom twice. So 2 legs down, straight push up. What are we going to do here? Are we going to bounce? See, with this leg down here, this is looking likely. We've had such a lot of pushing up lately. We could get a leg and a leg down, a bit of a... So it could take us down somewhere here. So I'll be surprised if that continues straight down there without at least a little bit of a pullback. I have a feeling it's going to be one of them slow days today with not a lot. Mind you, you only need one trade. You get one trade. In this current climate, you know, I've been trading now this for a little over 3.5 years, and we have times where we're getting 3 or 4 trades a day easily in really good setups. And then we've had times where we just get it nothing. You know, sometimes I've had weeks where I've had 3 trades in a week, 3 trades in a week. But lately it's not been too bad. But we have our days where we get 2 or 3 good setups, and we have our days where there's just not a lot. Was it yesterday? There wasn't a lot. Did I take anything yesterday? I don't think I did I? No, it was that. We had that stat. That was that medium impact news that spiked. There wasn't a lot of trade, and we had such a lot of chop here. I mean, obviously this was the overnight stuff. I mean, there was kind of 2 legs back here, but it's so congested. Look at that, rocketed straight down, and there's just nothing to trade really. It's just so much chop, and when it did move, there wasn't nothing. But it was just such an odd day yesterday. But we do get days like that. So interesting. So that is just rocketed straight through that. So let me just open that up now. I have to look at that as an overshoot, really. There's no other way to look at that. That fits really nice. That looks like an overshoot to me. Let's make this a little larger. So it's also a leg and a leg. I'd expect now a little push up, maybe. You don't know whether it's going to continue down, see. So I'd expect to test this area or maybe get back to the EMA. But the trouble is, as rangy it is at the moment, I wouldn't really want to go short here because this could come back into the range. I took that trade down. I thought it was a penguin trade. Let's have a look. You on about this there? 2 attempts to push up. Yeah. I think it might look a bit better on this other chart. We're going to break. 2 attempts to push up. Yeah, I suppose 2 attempts to push up. Take it around this EMA, I suppose. Yeah. What I find is he's got sort of 2 levels of trades. Trades that are really easy and obvious, and trades that I find still takes me a bit to get my head around what he's actually seeing. We've obviously got the obvious ones, you know, leg up, big bearish bar right at the EMA. It's just got written all over that it's coming down, and then other times he's got trades that are a little bit sort of more advanced for me, and I can't kind of work out. So, I mean, I trade Pats primarily. I've flitted through, I think, about twice over the last few years. And I tell you what, we had a bit of a conversation, well, a little bit of banter stroke conversation with a guy on the Facebook group over the weekend. And he was a bit arsey. He was going on about Mac. Oh, you know, Mac hasn't proved he can do this strategy works. And I said, well, look, he's got videos going back 13 years. You're not going to fool people for 13 years. He went, anybody could have cherry-picked them. We've never seen this, never seen that. And he was just being a bit of an arsehole, to be honest with you. And it just, there's something I remember a lot lately that I've read before. I've heard a couple of traders say, it's never the strategy. All these strategies work. The strategy is the simple bit. The easy bit, applying it to the correct context of the market, is the bit that takes the skill. So, and I messaged, because Dan was involved in this, and I messaged Dan. I said, you know, one thing I've learned over the last few years is it's never the strategy. It's always the trader. The trader is either losing patience, he's losing discipline, or his emotions are getting the better of him. And he absolutely agreed. He said, yep, exactly. So it annoyed me, this guy, and I said, there's one thing you haven't learnt yet about trading. It's not the strategy, it's the trader. Now, you see this, you know, sometimes I talk about this strategy that I've seen. These double width channels where you sort of get 2 bars, probably a bit wide this, but we get this push down, then we get a bullish bar, comes back. If you're short there of 2 points, it comes down. And I point out this all the time. Now, I need to start maybe playing around with it, maybe in the evening, but it's a strategy. And where do these strategies come? They're not set in tablets. We haven't dug them up in Egypt somewhere. You know, they're like a plan to enter and exit the market. And the reason they come about is traders sitting here day by day and watching things happen. You know, they're not miraculously sent to us and given to us. We've found them over the years. And, you know, some obvious good ones tend, you know, ICT's another one that tends to do its circle. But that is a strategy. We come down, we get a little pullback. If you shorted there, 2 point risk, 2 point stop, that is a strategy that worked. It's pretty straightforward. Now, that strategy will work more times than it won't. And if you're going for one-to-one, that is a strategy you will make money, and I've got no doubts whatsoever. But if you haven't got the patience to wait for them and you jump in when that strong bullish bar might not be that good, that can let you down. If you lose a trade and you get angry and you jump in at a bad decision again, that can let you down. It's not the strategy. So I've heard lots of people say, "Oh, Mac's strategy doesn't work. I've done it for 6 months. It doesn't work." It does. Like most every other strategy out there that people have made money on, it's not the strategy, it's the trader. You know, when I have moments of clarity where my patience is brilliant and I got the patience of a saint. I'm waiting for good quality setups. If there's something not quite right with it, I'll go, I'm not touching it, I'm staying out. And there are other times I'm trading, I feel that little bit of a bubble inside me, a little bit annoyed, a little bit impatient, a little bit wound up, and I'm itching to take trades that aren't that good. And it's those difference of emotions that affect how you trade. There's quite a lot to it, actually, that you know, that technical mindset to it. But I have moments where I can feel myself itching to take a trade, and I have other moments where I'm thinking, there's no way I'm taking that. It's not good enough for me. So, you know, this conversation we had with this guy annoyed me a bit. You know, I have my things I say about Mac, but they're more observations. I wish he'd do this or I wish he'd do that. But this guy was saying, you know, Mac's never proved he's done this. He's never done that. And Dan reminded me that he did put his broker statements. And I said, look, I'm telling you now, I've been doing it. The strategy works. Okay, where's your proof then? Show me your brokerage statements. And obviously I can't. But it's not the strategy that's stopping me from making money. Although I have broke even and I have made money, but not consistently. And that is a time thing. But some people will just, you know, they blame the strategy and this. And I'll tell you something now, if it's a strategy that any traders have been using consistency, it works. And the reason it doesn't work with you is it's something else. But he couldn't seem to get that. And I think sometimes when you've been trading a while, you realise that the reason I messed up is not because of the strategy, because I lost a trade, and it happens, and the emotions got the better of me, and I took a poor trade. But if I sit here patiently and wait for the best trades, they work. And I bet they work 9 times out of 10. And if you think about that realistically, you are going to make money. And the reason traders let themselves down is because the emotions get too much, or they lose a trade and they can't deal with it, and that's what happens. And that's something I believe that goes over time. But, you know, I have realised that lately. I think, you know, part of your journey, you hit levels where you start to understand certain things. And the thing I've definitely understood that it's not the strategy. You know, it's the trader, and that's, you know, that's not saying traders are bad people. You know, it's your fault for doing it. It's human nature to react the way you act, and over a period of time of doing it again and again and again. You know, you do any new job for the first time, it's exciting, it's different, it's nervous, whatever. But when you've been doing it year after year, it just becomes any old normal boring job that you're used to and you're good at. You've been doing it for years, but you need to do it enough. I looked at that there. I thought there was kind of a failure there. My only slight issue with going long here is we could have a leg and a leg. So a little overshoot with the break. This could come down further. And so could this at the moment. So it's a little bit sideways. I just thought there, I thought it was a failure. Actually, it's not. That's really the first entry. I like the fact that it is a second entry short and that's triggered, and it looks like it might push above there, but it could trigger above it and then come down. So I'm just, it's gone too far for a higher low, which is all it is at the moment. So, you know, depends how you look at that. You could say it's already had a break. You could do it like that. But I think this isn't, at the moment, looking more like a range, and this just looks like a breakout, which is possibly failing. So that's the one I was on about. Trouble is, could be double trap there, shorts trapped. Could push up, take that out, trigger the long at the same time, and then come down. So it's funny enough, Thomas Way's just put that there like that. That's initially how I had that. In which case, that may work. He's got that as a channel going up. He's got that like that. Now I'm not getting involved here because we've got 3 bars back to back here, so it might not work. There's always that possibility. This to me looks like it may continue down, and if this comes down, there's a good chance that's going to come down as well. So someone said lower high here. We got 2 legs up in a bearish bar that's triggered. So lower high to come down, which is possible. I wouldn't have taken that as a short, but there will be traders that have done. But the bit that's stopping me even thinking about longs here is the fact that this on that NQ looks like it may come down for a second leg. So there's a possible failure here. There'll be some shorts in there, I don't doubt it, but it's starting to go sideways now, so that's ringing alarm bells for me, is that one. I mean, if it pushes up above there, I think it'll give it some momentum maybe to push it a little bit higher. So we got a second entry short, so let's just put that like that. So we've got a channel there. That's looking quite bearish now. We've got a channel there with a break and a new high. But the trouble is, it's still very sideways. And this could close and it may go green and push up. So I'm not getting involved in here. And also there's the possible failure. So we have pushed up. We are kind of testing this. Got to be careful. It could come up or down. Oh, someone's taken that trade. Someone's in that. I bet their arse was twitching when that came back. Trouble is, this could push up, take out that, and push back into the range. Always possible. Trouble is, when we have been ranging and we break out and push in, Bart is in long for 3 contracts. He's in long, is he? Do you know, I like Bart. I think he's got balls of steel. He plays the numbers, and I think that's a smart way to trade. He goes for trades that are more likely to win. On this occasion, I don't think it will, but He just takes the trade. He sees a trade and he takes it. And when he loses a trade, it doesn't seem to affect him. I like that. I got a lot of respect for him as a trader. He has some days where he does really well, and he puts massive amount into his accounts. But the trouble is with this, it's giving me mixed signals. It could go up, could come down. So I'm assuming he took that one, did he? You got to be so careful when there's 3 bars stacked up like that. And I always find the good indicator, if the NQ's looking bearish, chances are this follows it. Yeah, he's a nice guy. Through him. Oh, did you really? Yeah, I like Bart. I talked to him quite a bit, actually. He's a nice guy. He's really nice and accommodating, always dead friendly. But I think he's a smart trader, I do. He plays the numbers. If a trade's going to work 70% of the time, I wouldn't take it because I can't handle the losses. It doesn't seem to affect him, so he'll take the ones where he's going to make money, regardless of if he has more losses. And I think that's a smart trader. So, if he took that trade, unfortunately, it looks like it stopped him at it, and now all of a sudden, look at this, we're getting a massive big green bar. I'm still not taking this, and I'll tell you why. Look at this NQ. We've had a leg and a pullback and a drop down. So for me, I think this NQ is looking bearish, and they do work in correlation with each other. So I think, for me, I mean, having said that, it could be a channel. It might not, but at the moment, this is looking bearish to me. It could change. It may change, but we got this channel down. One attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. So I'm just sitting tight at the moment. I do expect that stop to get taken out, which it has. But we could have a leg, break, new high. It still could come down or it could go up. So I'm just sitting tight at the moment. I mean, that's 29 ticks. That's flipping horrendous, that is. There's no way I'd risk that. 29 ticks, that's ridiculous. What's that, about 8 points, 7 points? 7 points. Madness. I mean, it's a strong move up, but how far it goes, I don't know. See, look on this NQ now. There's a line here I've put there. Why did I put that there? Because there was some liquidity there. And look, we've pushed up and bounced on it. We're struggling to get above it now. And it's kind of channel down. One attempt to go higher, second. If this bearish bar on the NQ comes and closes below that BMA, I think this is more likely going to come down. Yeah, he's got some good qualities, Bart has. Yeah, look at this bearish bar now. It's triggered that bullish bar on the NQ. This could come down now for another leg, which means this could as well. So if you got in that trade there and didn't mind you, fortunately it went enough for you to take some profits, I think, but I wouldn't want to get into that. It's bloody huge. If you got in there, wow, it didn't go far. Let's have a look. So if you got in there, you'd have got 2 points out of that. Let's see if this triggers this and pushes up, but I don't know. My thoughts are the NQ is bearish, I think. We'll soon find out. See, you've also got the option that there's a leg down, so leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. So at the moment, depends how this closes. It could turn and push up. But look at that. If you took that and you were still in there now, you'd be worried, wouldn't you? I'd say that's heading for that stop there. There's liquidity there below for sure. But it could change. Sometimes it will come down and nearly take you out and then rocket up. Yeah, look at the difference now. So one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. See if we get a lower high here or something on the NQ. Okay, so that little bullish bar is triggered. Possible second entry short. I don't know whether I'd want to go long or short here at the moment, see. But what's positive for a long perspective is that big strong bullish bar never got stopped out. And I like the way we're kind of sat on top of there, but you just don't know. When it's like this, it's choppy and it can turn at the drop of a hat. Have you ever traded different size tick charts at a low? Yes, I have, mate. I'm on the 2000 now. I've traded the 1000 tick chart, and if I've ever traded in the evening or overnight when I've been bored or it's been quiet, sometimes I'll go down to the 400 or the 500 because there's just no movement otherwise. I've tried the minutes, but the trouble is with the minutes, the bars are so different size-wise, and with trading Pats, we obviously go on a signal bar, but I find once you get into the minute, if I flick over 2 minutes, the bars are so different in size. That's what I mean. You got small bars like that, massive bars like that, and it can be just a bit more erratic for me, and the risk can be huge. So what's the risk there? So if I use that as a signal bar, it's like 7 3/4 points, 7.5 points. So if you get out the tick chart, it's, in my opinion, it's a lot the same. The bars are very, very similar. So it's easy to judge setups, I think, that's just from my perspective, but it's kind of where my bread and butter's been since I started trading. Where's that changed? Since I started trading futures with Mac. So you kind of trade what you know, but if you look at the bars, they're a lot more uniformed, aren't they? And when I go on a particular signal bar, I know roughly how big the signal bar is going to be, but that signal bar on the last one was 7.5 points. So it's quite high. That's double what this is. So I'm so tempted to take that. But it's 22 bloody ticks. Leg. Big bearish bar. There's going to be a hell of a lot of stops below there. What to do? We got a triple test on the... Should I take that one? Why can't I take it? Oh, I haven't got my account set. 89.
Order submitted.
It's a bigger risk than I want that. It's going to be a hell of a lot of stops there. It is a second entry short, big bearish bar. We've got a triple test on the NQ there as well. Second entry long triggered. This is a failure. Well, it's a bigger risk than I want, but there's liquidity there and there. So we've had a break new high, a little bit of sideways breakout, big bearish bar. Failure as well. Bullish bar there, bullish bar there. triple test on the NQ, second entry long triggered, and this looks like it's pushing down. I might put that there actually, because if it breaks below there, that should have a good push, and I might just follow it down with me stop. Got to get below there. I think if we get below there, we've got half a chance then, I think. Something I don't like about it.
Order filled.
Did I get out for break even? Yeah, I did.
Order
Let's
submitted.
get back in there for the failure. Come on.
Order filled.
So that worked out in the end. I wish I'd have held, really. I was very did, but I actually really liked it. So I got back in, so that's all right. I managed to get 2.5 points. Beautiful. Quite a few took it. It's just a bit bigger than I wanted, really. But I thought if it gets below there, it'll push down to there. So that's fine anyway. Excellent. So I got out there for a what's it? I should have held actually. I'd have been up 450 instead of 250, but that's fine. Amelia Mitzikin mentioned me in a comment. Is that the one I'm thinking of? So, yeah, I should have waited there. I should have had just that little bit more patience, but I had I don't know. Trouble is, a long year in a trade. I've been looking at 1,000 this week for the first time, and it's been a lot easier for me to read. Yeah, I don't think there's a right and a wrong answer. Maybe about a year and a half ago, I looked at the difference is, if we get, let's say, for instance, we get this move down here. No, that's not a good example. We had a channel on a one I looked at, actually. We had a nice channel up there with a break. We had 2 legs down and a push up. We had 3 big bullish bars in a row on the 2,000 tick chart. But on the 1,000, we had a really nice higher low, an absolute beauty trade, which worked. So you get twice as many bars. So the chance of getting a higher low, I think, improves. So I think that's a good enough reason to look at it. What I do, if anything, is just put it on a second chart and have a look at it. And at the end of the day, go through and mark the chart. There's no reason why you can't trade the two charts at the same time. So, for instance, I'm trading 2 charts. I've got this one here, and it's ever so slightly different. The reason it's different is I've got the break at end of day deselected. And what it does is it makes the bars ever so slightly different. If you look at the count there, I'm on 1,500 here. It's about 750, 700 more. You're trading both. Yeah, there's no reason why you can't, mate, at all. Put it this way. If you were doing 10 or 20 trades a day, I'd say focus on one chart. But if you're doing 1 trade a day, maybe 2, maybe 3, you can easily look at 2 charts. I mean, some traders trade 5, 6. Currency traders may have 6 or 8 different currency pairs that they're looking at and possibly trading. So nothing wrong with that at all. So I wish I'd have held on there. I'd have been up 450, but that's okay. I am trying to go for a few more points here or there. I'm trying to go for a flat 3 points. But I thought if we get below there, I got in there at a limit order on that one there. If we get below there, then I expect a push down from there and then there. And once it got below there, you can see it kind of went straight down below there. So that worked. Sometimes, and I consider myself an inexperienced trader. I've been trading a little over 3.5 years. But sometimes you get in these trades and they have pullbacks. And that's kind of the way it is. And I think in some cases, in a lot of cases, if you're an inexperienced trader, those pullbacks can unnerve you a bit, and you can start to doubt yourself, and you get out of the trades. And I've done that a lot in the past, and I would say 8 times out of 10, those trades go on to win, maybe 8 or 9 times out of 10. So I think the answer is, if you get into a trade that you like, you've just got to sit through it all. It is hard at times. But I think you're going to make more money by doing it. Now, I watched the trader the other day talking about this, and it rung a bell. And I have mentioned this a couple of times. Listen to this. This is really interesting. What you'll find is inexperienced traders is if they get into a bad trade, how many people have got into a bad trade? You leave your stop there and you stay in it, and it starts to go against you. And what do? You don't get out of it. You move your stop. So you risk even more money. And that's a bad trade. So when you're in a bad trade, you move your stop and you risk even more. When you're in a good trade, the second it starts to go in your favour, you're bringing your stop down, trying to secure profit. Wilson does that quite a bit. If you notice, he'll bring his stop down and drop it. And a lot of the times he'll get taken out for a break even and it'll go in its way. I don't do it as much now. But it's weird, isn't it? We get a winning trade and you're trying to get out of it and not make much money. You get a losing trade and you're giving it more space, more risk. And I watched a trader say that, and he said, when I realised that and stopped doing that, that's when I started making money. And it makes perfect sense. You're thinking, oh, the trades are going in my favour. Fantastic. Let's get some money now quick before it comes back at me. And then when you get a bad trade, you're going, oh no, it's coming for me. Let's give it more money. Let's give it more risk. It's crazy, really, isn't it? And I think that's just what I would consider an experienced trader. I would consider myself as maybe the intermediate level now. So I've been doing it long enough to know what I'm doing, but I'm still not experienced enough to get caught out from time to time, and I'm not fully in control of my emotions, but that's something that's slowly coming. But, if I'd have just left that trade, I'd have been up $450 per account. I could afford to lose a trade and still be up today. Whereas I lost my patience, got out, lost my bottle, got out, realised the trade was looking so good, got back in, and then ended up only having 230 down. So over the Apex copy, right, what happened? Did you email them? You did email them, didn't you? What did they say? Fail me again today. Only took that, yeah. Do yourself a favour. Get Replicanto. Or if you haven't got the money for it, split your accounts up, trade. They said they are aware of it. Well, I'd ask you for your money back then. If they're aware that there's an issue, they've admitted blame, I'd say, look, I'm sorry. I can't keep losing money like this. It's costing me money. Can I please have a refund? And use the money to get Replicanto. Honestly, you won't regret it. It's a great bit of software. It never lets me down. So what did I get there? 2.5 points. So it was a failure, that. Second entry short stroke failure. I actually got in at the same place. I think, no, I can't have done because... so it's 2.5 points. Second entry long. So plus 2.5 points. Yeah, if they've admitted it, then you got your right to have your money back. If they said, yeah, we know there's a problem with it, well then if you know there's a problem, then why don't you tell people? Because they're losing money. If they think there's a problem with it, they should email everyone who's bought it and say, we are aware that there's current issue with it at the moment. Please refrain from using it until for further notice. at the end of the day, if companies sell a product and there's a problem with it, most of the time you'll have a recall. But I've not heard of anybody mentioning. So I'd say I want my money back. Just say, look, you know, I've been patient with it and it's let me down too many times and I've lost too much money. Trading's stressful enough as it is, and I appreciate it, but can I please, nice and polite, can I please have my money back? And then buy something like Replicant. Honestly, you won't go wrong with Replicant. So it's I never have any issues with it. Yeah, that's bad. That they said, well, they should have really put an email out to people who use it. I mean, if you'd have been using 20 accounts and you could have lost one hell of a lot of money. And that's money, really, you've worked hard and built up. I think the trouble is with Apex, because they're not specifically a software company, they told me to, and they told me basically that, yeah, well, if they've said they admitted there's a problem, you've got a right to have your money back. Do not have Microsoft OneDrive enabled. Syncing files. This is the main cause. Is it now? OneDrive. See, I have OneDrive, but I don't know. I'll tell you one thing that's a pain in the arse of OneDrive. I'm constantly saying it's popping up saying that my email's full. I've used 4.7 gig of my 5 gig. And when I go in to delete it all, it's not showing that. I have a feeling it's not. Yeah, in other words, they're trying to pass some of the blame of it. Well, I mean, if there is issues with that, if they're selling a piece of software, they should be aware of it. I'd still try and get your money back. You got nothing to lose. Yeah, the trouble is, if you blow a couple of accounts, you've saved your money, and you really don't want the headache. They can't refund third-party software. Well, they should be able to. If they sold it, they shouldn't be selling third-party software then. That's like if I buy a pint of milk from Sainsbury's and something wrong with it, it's like them saying, sorry, you have to go and see the farmer. That makes no sense, that does. If you sell something, you're responsible for it. Your contract is with them, not who it came from. Yeah, it's ridiculous, that is. Yeah, the trouble is, don't get me wrong, I like Apex. They're a prop firm. They're not really a software firm, so whereas Replicanto are. And I love the fact that there's constant updates. Most weeks or every other week you're getting an update. And I like that. Completely different company, Apex Trading is it doesn't make sense. Don't they say Apex Investments and Apex? It may be a different company on paper, but surely it's owned by the same person. It's a completely different company. Apex Trading is just an affiliate of the copier. Yeah, but when you're an affiliate, you don't sell it. See, I'm an affiliate of Apex. I don't sell you it. All I do is point you in the direction of them and you buy it from them. That's what an affiliate does. I don't know. What time I'll use? Yeah, you don't have to use my code. You can use anybody's code, mate. But importantly, it's important you get one that's just, obviously money permitting. Yeah, I appreciate, mate. I've said you guys before, you guys using my code, it helps me out. It gives me a small commission and it enables me to trade full time and have a small wage. But, ultimately, it's about getting something that works, really, isn't it? This is looking like a triple test on here now. 2, 3. So we got a leg up. So leg down. That's like one attempt to me. It's a push up with like a retest. So that's kind of one attempt. And this is a second attempt. Now look at this. The trouble is when I've had a winning trade, the last thing I want to do is throw that away. So if I can have $250 twice every single week, that's $2,000 per account. If you can guarantee me every month that, I'd snap your hand off, which tells me I only really need to do 2 trades a week. So it'd have to be a good one. In fact, I've been going for an hour and 45 minutes. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break, folks. Okay, quick 5-minute break. My mouth's getting a bit dry. Make a quick cup of tea, and I'll be... Where do you come from? Hate when that happens. Get back. I hate it when we get these pop-ups. It can be dangerous, that can. Damn things. Okay, I'll be about 3 to 5 minutes. What have I missed? Nothing really. So there is a possible channel break new high, second entry short, one attempt higher, second attempt higher. Trouble is, we've had two pushes up and down, and now we've got a leg going up on that NQ. So if that continues up on that NQ, I expect that to do the same. Not only that, it's congested around there, so it's a no-no. So let's have a look. Yeah, Thomas took that one. I took that one on a limit order about here. In fact, it wasn't far from the close of that one, but second entry short and then a failure. He took that one, so that worked out for both of us. Nice failure. Second entry long, trap in the longs. Once you get below here, it pushed down, straight down below there, and that was it. I was expecting that to come a bit lower, actually. Hey, Chris, how you doing, bud? I'm all right, mate. You back? Pat's core still doing pain? Not so much, mate. I've kind of learned, and it's dawned on me over the last, I don't know, while, that funny enough, I mentioned this a while ago. There was a guy who was a bit of an arsehole on the Facebook group the other day, basically saying Mac's a bit of a fraud. He's never published his this, he's cherry picked trades and put them on YouTube and all that, and he was giving him a bit of grief. So I gave him a bit back, and I did say, there's one thing that you haven't, to this guy, there's one thing that you haven't learnt about trading yet, is that it's never the strategy, it's always the trader. All these strategies work. Penguin works, Mac works, they all work. Now, granted, some people might get on better trading a strategy that's a little bit slower. But if I think about all the times I've failed here, it's usually when my patience is gone and I've taken a poor trade. And when that happens, I'm frustrated, and usually it leads to another poor trade. Well, that's not the strategy, that's me. So I think I've just realised what I've been learning over the last 3 years. I don't want to forget that, because I'm so far down the road now. Changing to something else, I don't think it makes sense. So, but you guys must feel like this when you've had 2, 3 or 4 trades in a row. Everything feels fantastic. The world feels great. Life feels great. And when you've had a couple of trades in a row, you almost feel like you're losing it. I'm losing me touch. But there's nothing nicer when you've had 3 days and 3 nice trades on your accounts. Yeah, everything feels fantastic. And I think I just went through a little rough spell, and I think I was looking for an easy answer to make me feel better. And I think that was, a new strategy. Because I kind of felt new strategy, new start. And it's not really what I needed. I just needed to accept the fact that if I'm going to let my patience get the better of me, and I'm going to take poor trades, it's going to knock me back. The thing about trading, unlike a lot of other jobs, you can have a bad day in another job. It's not a problem. If you're so let's say you're a carpenter or whatever. When I was a bricklayer, we used to have something in the UK called tax windows. So years ago, way before I was born, like in the 1900s and that, if you had extra windows in your house, you would pay extra tax. So what they used to do is they used to brick the windows up to pay less tax. So the town that I live in, there's lots of houses with bricked up windows. Now the brick's set back so it looks like a brick window. And sometimes when they build new houses, they sort of keep in with the look, and they build these tax windows. And I remember we had some in a house once, and I should have bricked them up, and I didn't. I treat them as normal windows. And we had to knock, I don't know, about 300 bricks down. It's just something you do, but it's not a problem. You just do it, you get on with it. Whereas if you're not on form and make a mistake with trading, it can potentially cost you a lot of money. You know, if I've got 10 accounts and I take a stupid bad trade and I lose 300 per account, that's potential $3,000 you're down. So with trading, every time you make a mistake, it's costly. You can't work it. You know, you can't say, oh, I've made a mistake, don't worry about it. You know, you're working for another company, you make a mistake, we'll just hide it, brush it under the stairs and we'll carry on. So you really have to be on your game all the time. And I kind of like that. The fact that if you're only trading for 3 hours, it's not a long period of time to have to focus. And I've chatted with Marco about this, and if he doesn't trade for long, you'll notice a lot of the time he marks his chart, but he only trades for a maximum 3 hours because he says he's like a zombie after that because he puts so much into his focus and concentration that 3 hours is enough. And if you can do that and trade for 3 hours with good focus, you know, you'll do all right. I've watched about 5 or 6 of Penguin and just can't get my head around it. Yeah, even though it's closely back. Yeah, I was talking about this earlier. There are trades that are very simple. Channel down, 2 lovely little pushes up, crystal clear, really easy. And sometimes Mac will mark those, but there are ones where he'll have a break, make 2 attempts, and it's a little bit more complicated. But, you know, like any strategy, there are the more simple parts of it. But yeah, I mean, I took a couple of Penguin trades maybe a month and a half ago. You know, we had a channel down, 2 little attempts, and Mac marked them because they were a second entry, although from a Penguin point there were also 2 legs. So Sam's on what's it? Sam's in what's it as well now in Thomas Wade's. He's another nice lad. Sam is. He's a lovely guy. I chat with him a bit as well. You know, anytime you guys ever want to message me and talk trading or ask any questions or just have a general natter, you can message me anytime. I'm happy to talk about that. In fact, was it? Who was I having a chat with? I think it was Sean, wasn't it? About 3 o'clock in the morning. He messaged me, whether he'd done it earlier or not, or forgot I was 5 hours ahead. And I woke up, I couldn't sleep one night. I went down, made myself a cup of tea, looked at my phone, and I was having a chat with him. So you don't have to get up at the crack of dawn. You know, my sleep's all over the place at the moment. But I'm happy to talk shop if you want to chat. Do you know something? What I will say is there are kind of like 2 legs up here. But it's not clear, is it? See, this is the key. I think sometimes I like to predict where I think they're going based on the price I'm seeing. Obviously, we see this type of thing, but sometimes when the picture's a bit sketchy, I take a trade based on what I think is going to happen rather than waiting for that definitive push. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. You know, I don't think I'm far away from making consistent money. I just have a couple of little weak points. You know, I can sit here sometime for 2-3 hours and my patience will be brilliant. And I see a couple of possible trades and I'll leave them. And I feel like, yeah, this is great. I'm in the zone. And then there are other times where I just find it really hard to control that urge to take a riskier trade. What's that name thing on your chart where it shows how much you make or lose? Are you on about the thing at the top, bud? This thing up here at the top? Or you want about the thing that tags onto the end of the price line? Enter trade, I'll show you. You'll be glad to know it's free. It's a really useful indicator because sometimes you've got to work out how many points or what, depending on. It's called Order Line Decorator, and it's free. So if you just Google it, you'll find it. In fact, I'll Google it for you. Order line decorator. In fact, I was talking about this earlier. I'm going to put all this stuff on my website that way. There you go, order line decorator. It's part of the Ninja Trader, and that's what it does there. Hook's price on there. It's brilliant because you can change it to points and ticks. It's a great bit of software. That is brilliant. Love the add-on. You know exactly what your risk is with just a quick glance. So order line decorator, just Google it, and there it is. Download free. It's one of the really useful bits of software I got. That is, I like that. Order line decorator. And this is another useful one I've got as well that shows this. You're very welcome, mate. What's the other one I've got? Got rid of it. Size counter. There's another one I used to use. Where's that gone? It shows you the highs of the day. What's that one called? I can't remember now. I'm going to have to look. There was something I used for a while. Well, it shows you the highs of the day. I mean, this thing I got, it does the same thing. You know, I've got it here, which shows me the highs, the current open price and the current lows. But no, there are some useful things. I love that. I think it's really helpful. So hopefully tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week, more people will move over onto the December's contract. So that should speed volume up. 'Cause it's definitely low, isn't it, for sure? So we've got two legs up here and we've pushed below that EMA. So a failure here, a lower high, no, but I'd like a failure would push us below there. So channel down, 1-2 attempts. It's very much a penguin style trade, that. So in the sense of legs, we've got one leg and we've got two legs. We're a few ticks shy of that. In fact, you could even put that there, actually. And that is about bang on. So channel down, one attempt to go higher, two legs down. Well, you may put it to there, but I don't think it makes a difference. But you can clearly see there's two pushes up. If you look at that on the 10,000 tick chart, that should be a bit clearer. Let's have a look. Yeah, it is a bit clearer, and it's also looks like a second. You can see one leg, two leg, and there's a bearish bar there. It kind of looks like a I mean, technically that's a second entry short, but channel down, 1-2 attempts to push higher, bearish bar. So this thing could come down, but it is kind of like a penguin trade, although it's a bit of a messy, bunched up version of it. But it's clearly one push up, two push up. We've struggled to get up here back into this range. So I'd like to see a lower high or a second entry long off this bottom line here to trigger and then trap. In which case I think down here is probably the next likely place to come down. But it is a bit choppy, so I'd like a second entry long down here. And if that triggers, starts to come down, it gives us a long failure. Trouble is, this NQ Or is it? So, it's not the best looking channel, but it may turn here and push down, which kind of is what we're looking for there. It's interesting, on my other chart we're getting a nice bearish lower high there, so channel down, leg and a leg, nice lower high there. I prefer that to finish a little bit lower. So it looks like 2 legs up. Let's see if it's more of a measured leg on here. It looks better on here. So let's put that there and put that there. Yeah, leg up with a pullback and leg up, push below the EMA, and a bearish bar. I wouldn't take that though. I want to give it a chance to stop out and give us a fairly. If we can get a second entry long there to trigger, if that starts to push down there, then I would be interested in taking that failure, which hopefully will give us a second leg down to about there. I want this to finish bullish though, ideally. Second entry long and then to trigger and then start working down, but sometimes you don't get what you want. So I'd like to see a long here. Bullish bar, leg and a leg. Now it could push up, but if it triggers it and comes down, I think that'll give us some momentum to go south some more. Let's have a look at this. NQ, touch, touch, touch. Channel break. New high. We're below the EMA now here. I mean, that is 2 nice legs down, so in all intents and purposes, this could push up. But if it triggers it and comes down and traps it, then I think that's going to send us more downwards. And there's always a possibility, channel break, new low, that this is slowly working up. So someone else said waiting for the fail second entry long. This, I think, is looking bearish, the NQ, which is good. But this is an upside down bear flag, isn't it? Upside down bear flag. Bear flags are upside down. Have I said that right? Down, bum, 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 and then drop. I think it is. Is that what you call it? Bull flag is up and across. Bear flag is the opposite, not an upside down one. I've got that wrong. And the good thing about waiting for it to trigger and giving the failure is it stops you. Stops you taking that long. I mean, that long may work. It may rock it up. So you want that to trigger. It hasn't triggered. That's a ball ache. It's not a failure if it doesn't trigger. That's the good thing about it. It just gives you that extra bit of safety if it triggers. Because once it pushes below there, takes out any stops, which gives it more momentum. It still might trigger yet. I thought it was going to just drop then. Come on, push up. But what I will say is it is two nice legs, so it is possible it could go up. But that really doesn't matter. We're only really interested if it breaks below there. But from what I'm seeing, I think the chance of it getting down there now is pretty high. It would be even higher if we can trigger that and come down there and stop it out. It's clearly struggling to get up, which is encouraging. Push. Laufey, hey dear mate. I think it's time for a break because we can't tell what the market will do. Yeah. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, it does look like it's. I'm looking at the on Thomas Wade's here as well, and the general chit chat is waiting for a failed second entry long. Someone's already in that. What's he waiting for? But you can get a general gist of things. What's going on? The price, you know, the general thought process is that, well, the general thought or consensus is the price is coming down. He's obviously thought, I'm not waiting, I'm jumping in on that bar there, but there you go. So I think the general idea is it is looking very penguinish, channel down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, and two legs back. So for me, I wouldn't want to get in there unless it broke above there. I'd prefer that bit bullish, but second entry long, trigger, come down, trap in the longs. I expect it to come down to here then. Two legs down. You can guess there's going to be some stops below there. Whether it'll get down there, I don't know. It's so there may be a failure and a second entry short here. But it is struggling to go up, which I like. It's a good sign, which means it's likely going to come down a bit easier. And if you look on the NQ, this is looking bearish. It's looking like it's about to just, the arse is about to fall out of it. Unfortunately, we haven't triggered yet, so it's not a failure until it's triggered. Which is frustrating because the NQ does look like it's about to drop. Is there such thing as a hidden fail second entry long? I don't know, is there? I don't think it can. I mean, technically, the whole idea is really trapping the longs, isn't it? And technically, I mean, you are going to get some people who may long here before even the bar, before the bar finishes. But I think, from my point of view, a failure. It's a shame, really, because if we'd have broken above there, I'd have put my order there to go short, and that would have worked. Quick 2 points there, I think. So if I'd have put my order there, 0.75. So that's a shame it didn't. We had a little triple top there as well. Yeah, it's definitely 2 legs back. Someone else has seen that as well. He's actually marked it as errors, like a penguin, leg down, 2 attempts to push high. So you can clearly see what's happening. Channel down, 1 attempt higher, 2nd attempt, he's put the white arrow. So that's very much, this to me looks like a typical penguin style trade, 2 legs up. He'd probably take it down here. Plenty of room to the bottoms. So I think that's good. So when this bearish bar finished, a limit order somewhere around there would be perfect, I think. So when that pushed down, let's say maybe a limit order somewhere around about here, there's your stop. You're out comfortably before the bottom. And that's 27 tick. So you only really want to risk in half of what you normally do, I think, on these, because they are such bigger moves. NQ's just looking lovely and bearish at the moment. Leg down, bit of a correction, and another leg down. I can't see this not getting down to this level. So I think this will probably close below there. There'll be some liquidity below there, I don't doubt. Whether it'll reach that, maybe. If we've got a leg down and 2 pushes, we could get that other leg down. So it is readable. It's messy, but it's readable. In fact, depending on where Penguin put his limit order there, he might not have got filled there. Be interested to see later. But I think he probably put it as close to that line as he can. And if you put it there, it may not have got filled. Put 2 legs on that chart, on my other chart, and it's made 2 legs down. 2 legs up, 2 legs down. See, with that bearish bar there that's triggered, I kind of hoping that would push above there. Just trigger above there. So whether there'll be some shorts, maybe selling that. If you didn't get on that initial move, I wonder if there's maybe some shorts there. Let's see if it hits that level and then continues down. It has. It hasn't broke it yet, but I think that would trigger you, wouldn't it, I think? As it's ticked below there, I'd like to see that broken. So if you did put an order in there for a short, you may have got triggered, you may not have done. Let's see this trigger and then come down. That'd be lovely. Just shows we're reading the chart nice. So if you were a Penguin trader, you could get in there on a short. If you miss that move, that's the good thing about the Penguin. You have time to think about it. So we come down. You'd have got in there on a limit order somewhere there. Now, it didn't come down and it priced down here. But I think it will do. So you could think about this, make your mind up, have plenty of time to make your mind up and think, okay, let's just see if it comes back before it reaches that. and gets me for a limit order, and you'd have been in there if it did. And I think it's interesting there as well because we've got a bullish bar there that's triggered, so I think now there's a good chance it's come down. So that's the good thing about the penguin strategy, is sometimes you have got time to think about things and get back in. With a Pat's trade, most of the time you're out. I was out there on that first bar, didn't have a chance to come back, whereas, you know, if you'd have got in there with penguin, it came back, it came down, it came back, it came down. So you do have the opportunity to get back in. If you like the trade that much and think, damn, I missed it, you could put an order there and take, you know, you got nothing to lose, have you? So if you're in there and you took that there, you're up about 10 points already, 10 ticks already. Actually, technically, that's also a failure. New high, try go once, try go twice. It's a possible long failure there. So let's have a look at this. So that's how I had that. So this is a break. As long as that stop stays intact, that's okay. Still messy, innit? See, if you haven't taken a trade, at the end of the day, you'll be going, oh, what a horrible day. Chop, 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 chop. But if you're taking a trade, it's a good day. So even sometimes if you can get one trade, even in a crap day, it's a good result. Did you get sample any video evidence Apex verification? Did you get sample any video verification? I haven't, mate, no. Did you? Have you? Did you? I can't remember now. Did you? I think that's going to go soon. They're supposed to be having these new things coming out with Apex anytime. They said in a couple of weeks. I think that was about 3 weeks ago. So when you say verification, you mean to verify who you are. You're not talking about with a payment, are you? Just to verify who you are. Sorry, I might have got confused. I thought you might have been talking about to verify it's you trading, you know, for a payment. Both. I can't remember because I've been with Apex now for about a year and a half. I think I might have done, but I haven't had one for a payment. Did anyone share that with you? Not sure what you mean, mate. Did anybody share that with you? Not sure what you mean, mate. Hope Apex make 85 US lifetime payment or lower. They should to stay competitive. I agree, mate. How you doing? We know we got these new things coming out with Apex now with fast track trading, which obviously is expensive, but you don't have to pay for an evaluation. You go straight into a live account. My funded futures. They're bringing out some really good offers. Some of these companies, and if you remember, Apex really moved up into the #1 spot when they started doing 90% off. And reducing down from, because it used to be 25 days before you get a payment, not 10 days. They come out with a load of new rule changes and it was just like unbelievable. And they just sort of rocketed into the top spot. But, you know, now you've got there's a lot of other companies. There's a lot of other companies coming out. In fact, I read something the other day. I can't remember where I read it now, that someone said they spoke to an ex-employer of Apex and said they were making a huge amount of money. They had a massive surplus of cash. How true it was, I don't know. Take it with a pinch of salt. But if there's loads more companies, you can tell. Well, you would like to think they're making a stink load of money, wouldn't you? Apex rules are becoming so unfair day by day. Yeah, it is hard at the moment, and I'll tell you why I think there's a lot to do with it. And I've seen loads of these. I'll show you something quickly. I think this is a lot to do with it. Let me just find. There's a video I put on the Facebook group. Where is it? A video. Let me find it. Show you it quickly. And I've seen loads of these. Okay, you might have seen these. I'll play this for a second.
Withdrawals. Over the past few months, we have passed thousands of top-tier challenges for our customers. These people are now fully funded traders receiving payouts. Put an end to the continuous cycle of trying and failing. Get in touch today to elevate your trading journey.
There are loads of these companies coming out and saying they'll trade your accounts for you. My funny futures, but I am still very skeptical to trade micro scalping rules. Yeah, well, they did say, didn't they? And if you remember, I saved that image of this saying you can trade 2 points on the ES. I know what you're saying, bud, which is why I'm trading them on here at the moment. Now, this past does not help long term. In fact, I watched Kellyanne's video. Was it from yesterday? And they said they are... let me see if I can find it. They are changing to allow micro scalping. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, that one there. Crazy look. Yeah, they're changing the rules to allow micro scalping. Let me just.
50K. I'm only going to focus on the 50K direct to fund. They had a 50% off code that expired. Now we have a 45% off code. They're going to be adding 2 more micro scalping rule. Is people that are using martingale strategies, or they've got DCA.
Yeah, they're changing the rules to
up.
I think they're
that
realizing.
Really is the
have a
only
look through that
reason
one.
for
That was
rule.
from yesterday,
it's not like
14
it's
hours
fail
ago,
you or anything like that. So I have
but they're changing the rules to allow it. Now we did message someone from my average loss to 250, my wins are 250. But if I chicken out, break even, 3 trades made 250 in a row, so my average is 82. Yeah. I have that same problem, bud, sometimes. Who is Kellyanne? She's just a YouTuber and a trader. And she just makes videos. She made that one about Apex a while ago. No, Yeah, she started. She's the one that's got that bit of beef with Apex. On the NQ, is it? Okay. Yeah, well, we did message him the other day and say, can you trade 2 points on the ES? And he said yes, so I saved it. As long as you follow the rest of the rules. But it's just one of those things, isn't it? But apparently they are... I think they're realising lots of people are talking about it and they're a little bit worried about it. So, which is why I'm only kind of trading one account. I want to sort of get my feel for them. But I like what they're about. They interest me, put it that way. Yeah, I've read that as well, 5 points or 15 seconds. Now, 15 seconds is a quick trade anyway. But it's one of those things, isn't it? If I go for trade on here, in most cases, I'm getting 15 points. Now, a trade can take 3, 4, 5 minutes, or it can move quick. And it does that in all markets, really. So I'm not concerned, which is why I'm only trading with one account. You can only get 3 accounts anyway currently, but I want to get through to a payment, trade it as an account, get a payment, and then see what experience I get from it. But I can't. One thing I like about them is, one, you can get a payment quickly, and 2, I like the end of day drawdown, so it just gives me chance to try and make a little bit more of a move, which is, you know, what I'm trying to do a little bit, although I haven't really traded it today. I've focusing too much on this, but in fact, we've got more sideways stuff. I still think that's pretty safe at the moment, but it's just slow. And in fact, how long have I been going for? 2.5 hours. I'm going to finish in a minute, I think, anyway. At least I'm up a nice trade. I'm up 250 account per account today, minus fees. So I'm up about what's that? I'm up about $1,100 odd, $1,150, something like that. But yeah, I'm only trading with one account at the moment, but I like the sound of them. But I think they're going to lose a lot of business if they don't. So we'll see. These companies are changing and they're competing. When they come out, they're used to doing things a certain way, but they start getting a feel for their customers and what their customers want. And that's how things change. I'm still waiting for this news to come from Apex to find out what they're planning on doing, but they need to do something quick, I think, because, you know, all these other prop firms are coming out with all these sort of new and exciting ways to trade and quick payments. But I'm pretty sure from what I've read, this making videos to prove who you are is I believe, is going to go. They're making it a lot quicker to get approved and payment, because I've heard people waiting like a week and a half, 2 weeks to get approved. Now, I think Sam was, was it Sam? I think it was Sam said he was waiting for a payment, but he didn't want to trade the account. And that's the trouble. If you put in for a payment, you don't want to be waiting 2 weeks, do you? So you want it to be approved in 24 hours and then get it out your money. Is there a way to check account stats over time, like average win, average loss? Yes, there is, mate. Yeah. So if I show you this here, so this is what your screen will look like. Shows your starting balance, target profit, blah, blah, blah. And then if you scroll down, it shows you, am I looking? It shows you this. It tells you how many trades and how much you've made. It tells you best trade, number of trade, worst trade, contracts, win percentage, average win, average loss, and profit factor. It gives you loads of information, and it's almost like, really, like having a you like a piece of software that tracks all your trades. So I kind of like all that. I like that it's got all that and everything gets updated at the end of the day. So I like them. I like them. I like the end of day drawdown. I've not traded with a company with end of day drawdown. So if you want to try and go for a big move, if you think, you know, we've had 2 big legs down and this thing looks like it's going up on an evaluation or something, you could buy here, put your profit up here, and it doesn't matter whether it goes up $5,000, comes back and takes you out for break even. It doesn't make a difference on your drawdown. Your drawdown is updated at the end of the day, not during. And if it went up 10 grand with Apex and came down, once it got down to X, whatever X amount, it would take you out of the game. So you can go for bigger swings if you want. So I like that about it. Anything for Apex? Is there a way to check? Nothing for Apex, mate. Nothing at all. Nothing. You can see how much you've made per day, but that's it. It doesn't give you any stats at all. Yeah, I just think it's... I mean, these prop firms are coming out with new and exciting ways to make things more attractive to the trader. So, fact. Oh, it's interesting. But I think things will get better and better for us. I mean, you think a year and a half ago, I was paying $85 at the cheapest to have an evaluation with Apex. Yeah. Yeah. Penguin went to trade that and he said he put it on a limit order and it missed. So I'm guessing he put a limit order here. And it went down and didn't get him. So I've just had that on an email, but it won't show me now. Will it? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so Penguin put that. I can't read it, but it does say 2 legs up, bearish bar there. He put a limit order and it never got him. But I thought he might like that. Now, we're still okay at the moment for it. I still think that'll work. Sometimes it does do that, but if it's a good enough setup, it'll eventually work down, I think. But yeah, I mean, these prop firms are all battling for your business, aren't they? And that's the good thing about having lots of companies out there. The deals for us will just keep getting better and better. There's obviously a lot of money to be made in this business, which is why every man and his dog's doing it. So, yeah, I don't think it'd be long before if you trade with a certain company, you'll get free use of Trade Zeller or something like that. I think they'll just give you more and more. But things are getting better. Whether eventually evaluations will fade away and they'll say everyone's on a live account, but they're all fighting for our business. And that makes things just really good for us. So I like the way that bullish bar is triggered. See, I'm not the only one thinking along those same lines. He's got that same thing, leg and a leg up and eventually down. In fact, you may even argue that that bar is a triple test. What did we look at that? I think we might have done. Did it make? Oh yeah, look. So you'd have got 2 points off that comfortably. So 1, 2, 3, yeah, triple test. So channel down with a break. Possible second entry short. You can pretty much guess there's likely to be some longs there. If it comes down below there, it'll come down to this level, I think. And if it gets down here, that'll be the target, which will comfortably make them 26 ticks. Trouble is, it's that damn slow. It might take a while. Yeah, so there's a second entry short there. It's looking nicer on my other chart, but it is also a bit congested. So we've got a leg up. It could go a bit higher. I don't think it will, but it could. Yeah, it looks like it's working. That is, well, it's got below there anyway. So I don't think it was a bad trade, actually. My only slight concern with that was the fact that it's a little bit like that. Well, I just don't like it. It's a little bit concerning, a little bit choppy, but I think... someone's jumped here with a limit order and missed it. Excuse me a sec. Okay, folks, I'm going to leave it there for the day. But yeah, that did work for a little bit, but it is still a bit choppy, so it's a little bit concerning. So I'm going to leave you for the day. So if you count on trading, best of luck. Failing that, I'll be back tomorrow. So not a bad Monday, up to 50 on my account. So not a bad day. So best of luck. Yep, you take it easy, bud. Best of luck. I hope you get something, but have a great evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.